Okay. Welcome everybody online by Zoom. Happy to have you here. We have folks here with us in person as well. My name is Justin Stoner. I'm one of the consultants with the Mission Community Services Corporation and Women's Business Center. I'm your presenter today for building digital influence using LinkedIn. I'm happy to give you this presentation. I've been a consultant with Women's Business Center since about 2018, and I've had the pleasure of advising dozens of small business owners, entrepreneurs, startup folks, and just individual professionals who wanted to increase their marketing presence on social media, video, whatever it might be. I'm one of the marketing consultants with MCSC, and happy to give you this presentation. This is actually the first time I've done LinkedIn. I'm an avid user of LinkedIn, have been for many years, and so it's fun for me to kind of pass along my best practices and firsthand experience with LinkedIn. And I'll go through the presentation, and then hopefully we'll have some time at the end. I could answer some questions if there are any questions. There's the chat room. You can post some questions there as well. But I'll start off here on this beginning slide. It's not just a title slide. I actually have borrowed from Nicole Pasden's LinkedIn profile. She is CEO of Elder Placement Professionals here in San Luis Obispo. And, in terms of a local personality who is using LinkedIn the right way and the best way, I can think of no better example. And, just from this first slide alone, you can see, you can learn a lot of lessons. She's building awareness and relevance. I've been following Nicole for a number of years. And it wasn't until recently that I had a reason to actually spend more time watching her content and listening to her content, because as my parents aged, I needed to start thinking and talking with them about where they might want to go as their health issues increase over time. And so while I followed her and admired her persistence and consistency in delivering information, inspiration, and knowledge around her area of expertise, now I'm watching because she's answering questions that I'm actually having in my own head. And it's that journey of LinkedIn that you provide to people in your sphere of influence too. If you're, like me, I'm a realtor, so there's a lot of property issues, a lot of real estate issues that I watch, and folks who follow me, they may not need to buy or sell a house today, but 2 years from now, they might, and they might turn to me as someone they know on LinkedIn as somebody they trust, somebody who has knowledge. And Nicole is a great example of that. She's got consistency, visibility, and the variety of topics that she covers is great. And so we'll take a little closer look at her later in the presentation. But first, I want to talk about why. Because, as business professionals or as small business owners, you have at your disposal any number of social media platforms or video platforms or anything online to expand your market share, to reach out to your customers, to gain new customers over time. And so LinkedIn isn't something that the gurus talk about a lot or haven't historically. I think they're talking about a little bit more now. And especially for those of you who are not a B2B, a business-to-business enterprise, you might not see the relevance in LinkedIn because LinkedIn really is a business environment. But we'll talk about that and explain a little bit more why it's important to build your reputation on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, as I said, isn't like any other platform. LinkedIn, you are going to see the networking, the educational aspects, the social aspects, the opportunities to join communities around specific issues or your industry. There's opportunities for recruitment or advancement in your field, either in partnership with other businesses or getting a job somewhere else by somebody who sees the value you bring to your industry. One of the great things that I like about LinkedIn is the lack of spam, controversy, and annoying posts. Now, if you're on LinkedIn enough, you probably will run across somebody who posts business things a little bit more frequently than you would like that annoy you. But for the most part, you're not going to run into anything that's truly unprofessional or unethical or anything like that. It's people putting their best foot forward in just about every way possible. So this is a great environment to kind of bask in an environment that is helpful, educational, inspirational, and people who are like-minded as you are. Now, LinkedIn, you can create a profile and make posts. Some people do ads, and that question might come up. My initial answer on ads for LinkedIn, I would look long-term ads, you can do down the road, and we can talk about that. But initially, we're talking about just building up your profile and things to post and why post on LinkedIn. And so overall, LinkedIn is going to be an environment unique online and is an important one to make your presence known and have a profile that's fully filled out, because as time goes by, you're going to see all of the opportunities that come to you as a result of being a presence on LinkedIn. There is, folks will look at your profile and you'll be notified of that. You'll see other industries that take an interest in you, and you'll see that. LinkedIn does a great job of letting you know who's interested in who you are and what you do and how you show up in people's searches on LinkedIn. So I'm going to go to the next slide. If I were to pin a number on the value of LinkedIn to my professional career, this would be it. Facebook really hasn't brought me anything that I can attribute any dollar amount to as a business person, as a working professional. Same with Instagram, same with YouTube. LinkedIn, though, I can directly attribute $368,000 in my life, in my professional career, to LinkedIn. Now, I'm not saying you need to be on LinkedIn because it's going to bring you money, but it brings opportunity, it brings advancement, it brings a lot of things to the table that other platforms do not. So for me, this is a combination of one-time projects, it's freelance work, it's partnerships, it's salary in some cases. So my activity, my presence on LinkedIn was how people found me. It's why they trusted me. It's a reason to do business with me or seek a partnership with me. So, from a purely, I guess, selfish standpoint, LinkedIn has meant a lot to me. LinkedIn has never failed me in helping me advance my career, advance certain initiatives that I was a part of, and help provide me a wider range and a deeper range of professional acquaintances, friendships, over time than any other platform. So, this is a good reason to think about LinkedIn and what it could mean to you. And, as a startup or an entrepreneur, a small business owner, there are ways of using LinkedIn in a variety of different contexts that can help you advance what you want to do in your career, what you want to do in your business, in ways that the other platforms do not. So when we talk about, and I'm spending a lot of time talking about, pumping up LinkedIn and why do it. We'll talk about some of the best practices as we move forward. But I think it's important because I really want to motivate you into a deeper understanding and a better appreciation of LinkedIn because of all the value it provides professionally. The highest and best use of your time and what LinkedIn offers, I think, is directly correlated. So LinkedIn, there's no better place to build your personal branding. Now, you could do that on Facebook and Instagram, but it's not always directed toward a business community or like-minded individuals. And so In many industries, referrals, reputation, branding mean the world. It's more valuable sometimes than just the cash that comes into the business, because it means future revenue coming in. So LinkedIn is great for personal branding. And then in terms of networking too, if you're going to find like-minded individuals, you're going to find them on LinkedIn. It's going to be harder to find on Facebook. Lead generation, I talked about opportunities that came my way as a result of my presence on LinkedIn. And content sharing. A lot of us as business owners, we write blog posts, we create content for Instagram and Facebook, we create videos, both internally or for our industry. And LinkedIn is a great platform to share those and embed those in our profile in a way that people can historically go back and see how active you have been as a leader, a speaker, a convener on any number of different topics. Now, those of you who are looking to be recruited for a new job, or you are in business and need to recruit top level candidates, LinkedIn is going to be a great place to do that too. Like I said, I have found opportunities through that, and LinkedIn is great at helping you find people and businesses in industries that you want to work with. Partnerships, we've talked about that. Market research, and I'll show you a post in a little bit about how and why market research is so easy to do and so helpful on LinkedIn. Industry engagement, there are communities on LinkedIn around different topics, whether it's an industry or a certain initiative. You can find those communities and get to know others in your industry and who has a similar interest. Projects and achievements, it's hard to, we put those on Facebook, we put those on Instagram, but within 24 hours, those are so far buried into our feed, nobody can see them anymore. And on LinkedIn, you can put them on your profile and, it reads like a resume. And so it's a great place to kind of enshrine the things that you've achieved over time and make that available so that people know what you've accomplished in the past. Thought leadership, again, this goes kind of the content sharing. If you are a thought leader in your industry, in your region, posting articles or posts, videos along those lines, you're going to get those shared among your peers and will further enhance your reputation in the industry. Events and webinars, you'll see any number of those promoted online. And then obviously client testimonials. Again, these are things that not only can be posted on LinkedIn, but you could put them on your profile so that over time you can build an entire list of testimonials of people you've worked with who can attest to the quality of your work and the diligence of what you provide. LinkedIn is not Facebook. And unfortunately, there are still a number of people who treat it like Facebook, and it's not. And I gave a list of things here, a little bit repetitive of the previous slide, but Facebook is professional networking. It's not vacation pictures. It's not pictures of pets or anything like that. It's not. There are people who post memes and things like that, but it's LinkedIn should be thought of as kind of a professional work environment. If you went to a conference or a seminar somewhere where you would be meeting other professionals, the topics that you would discuss, the way that you would present yourself, that's really how you should present anything you put on LinkedIn and not leave it to chance. Whereas something on Facebook might be a little bit more controversial or get a rile out of somebody. You definitely wouldn't want to do that on LinkedIn. Now, what we know about building reputation and gaining influence, it's not a resume. It's not certificates posted on the wall behind our desk. Those are all well and good, but it's the things that we say, the things that we do that are visible to others that help build our reputation. So in other words, it's actions that create a reputation. And, here are 3 more examples of Nicole's posts. She will post videos, and you'll see they're not very long. They're, minute long. They're less than a minute long a lot of times. And what she's doing is she's talking through questions that get thrown to her in her profession from clients, from family situations that she encounters. And so she tries to give out a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of guidance each time on these videos. She has a, fun fact of, what is it? Fun Fact Friday? I can't, yeah, Fun Friday Fact. That she will just take a minute and speak to the camera. And so what this is doing over time is it's elevating her as someone who is an outspoken, knowledgeable person in her profession who, answers the questions that maybe you didn't even know you wanted to ask. And so this is kind of what I would think of as the highest and best use of LinkedIn. She's not directly going on camera and say, hey, I'm the best at what I do. You should hire me, or you should call my office. She's showing you, this is what I do. This is the way that I answer questions. And they're just small questions. They're not questions that need a 5-minute answer. It's a question that needs a 1-minute answer. It's just a little tidbit. And she does it over time, and she's done it so consistently. She has a vast library of these videos that people can spend a lot of time just scrolling through and watching. So she's helped build her reputation and her level of expertise through these posts. So if you are an industry where you interact with the public and there's a lot of questions and misconceptions or myths that you need to bust, you might consider these types of posts, because it's going to give you that library of information and that presence on LinkedIn that people will come to value. Even if they don't currently need your services, they will remember who you are and what your expertise is. Now, you'll notice these selections here that I picked, they're in the up and down form, like they recorded on a cell phone. So these are things that could be repurposed on Instagram. They could be repurposed on Facebook, and maybe they were put there first and then put on LinkedIn. So this is a great tool to continue sharing things that you're putting out in other platforms as well. This one's a little hard to read because I tried to capture the entire post, but it's about providing value. So this is Social Media Examiner. It's a company that puts on social media workshops and provides articles and all kinds of opportunities for learning about social media and the best uses of it for business. And I would encourage you to go to their website, Social Media Examiner. But here's an article that they posted, and the bottom graphic there, it's not just a picture. If I could put a cursor over it, you'd see there would be an arrow, and it's a slideshow. So you can just click through the slides, and there's about 5 slides that educate you on the topic that they're talking about, video and storytelling, how to connect with an audience. So you click through there, and it highlights little tidbits that you can use. And so Social Media Examiner does a great job of, and you'll see that they do this quite a bit on LinkedIn, they educate their audience. They're not talking about, we know the most about social media, you need to pay us to do things for you, or you need to come to our conferences. They'll get to that. But what they're doing initially is just educating you, helping you become a better professional in showing you the way on social media. And so they build reputation, they build expertise over time through that consistency and that continuous educational content that they're always putting on LinkedIn for you. And so if you're in an industry where you have little tidbits that you could provide in a graphic form, in a picture form, sometimes it could just be a picture of something in your office or near you, and you put a little text over it. You can upload a PowerPoint presentation or a series of pictures that tell a story or give some informational value onto LinkedIn. It's hard to publish a PDF on Facebook. It's impossible to publish a PDF on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. But LinkedIn, they allow you to upload documents that might be useful to your audience. So, if you have a PowerPoint presentation or you have, some other graphics that could be uploaded, you can do that. And that's so that it's an educational and an easy to use environment where, as a business professional, you have a little bit more flexibility than just on your normal social media platform. Now, I talked about market research in a previous slide, and this is an example of it. This is a chief marketing officer who put a poll up. Now, you can do polls on Instagram, you can do polls on Facebook, but the folks who will respond, a lot of times you're going to get snarky responses, you're going to get cynical responses, and it may kind of fall flat. Any poll that I've ever done on Instagram or Facebook didn't get nearly as much attention as what you would get on LinkedIn. So in this case, he's asking, are trade shows an effective way of getting prospects? And so that market research. Oh, what
about TikTok? Is your favorite for expert content?
Yeah, TikTok is quickly becoming a great venue for expert content. There's not the same level of back and forth discussion as you would get on LinkedIn. TikTok, and I'll just explain this quickly. There's two types of social media platforms. There are social media platforms where the people who view your content are usually the people who follow you or are some way associated with you. But there are other social media platforms like Tumblr and TikTok where it has nothing to do with who's following you necessarily. It's all based around topics. If you're interested in a certain type of thing, you'll see a lot of that kind of content. So if you're on TikTok and you're looking at cat videos, all of a sudden your feed's going to be full of cat videos on TikTok. And then if you switch over to monster trucks, in the next couple of days, you're going to see a bunch of monster trucks. And so the algorithm is reacting to what you're interested in, not necessarily who's following you or who you're following, though there is a little mix in that. LinkedIn, it's going to be mostly who's following you or who you're following, and it's going to show you that kind of content. So if you're directing your posts to a certain type of business or customer or whatever, LinkedIn is a great place. TikTok, it's not really a business environment, so you can do both. And if all else fails, that's what I say, just do both. But I think you're going to find more relevant and valuable interactions on LinkedIn with that rather than TikTok. But again, it depends. Results may vary. That's my cautionary advice there. But here, there's this poll that he's putting up. You can look. There's only 6 likes. There's only 16 comments, but there were 444 votes. So it's a high level of interaction on the poll, even though it didn't get a lot of likes and comments. So you have to know what metrics matter. And for him, the votes clearly matter because those are folks who now he can reach out to and, have a further conversation with. And, whether he's putting on a trade show or really just wants to know if he should bother attending a trade show, he's getting valuable information back. And so the way you build your questions and create your polls, you can get a good market research back from relevant people who are serious-minded and hopefully in the same industry as you. Branding and examples. Now this one, I am leaning on one of our other consultants, Gina Sinardo. She is one of our consultants here at MCSC, and she is a photographer, and her business is branding. And so I could think of no better person to point you to for an example of branding than her. This is her Facebook company page, Jinichi Studios. I always struggle with that. But that is not her in the pictures. In the photos, is one of the tribal leaders of the Chumash. And so this is Gina not only showing an example of her work and how she helps capture the personality and the distinction of her client at Chumash, but it's also helping elevate her expertise and her reputation as someone who not only takes great pictures that put people, you know, in the best light possible, but showing that this is my client, she's been in the news. I know how, you know, if you read the post, you'll see, I know how to help get you into the news. If you're looking for, you know, a spotlight on you, I can help you with that. And so, you know, she's branding herself, she's branding her client, she's, you know, elevating the expertise that she has to offer. And it's not you know, an overt, I'm the best at this. It's, you know, she's actually showing you work. She's saying, here's a sample of my work. Let me know what you think. You know, is this something that would be interesting to you? And so when you're making posts on LinkedIn, you have that opportunity as well. You can make posts that demonstrate. You can talk about, you know, this customer came to me, they had this problem. This was my advice to them. We move forward toward a solution. Here's the end result. You know, it's kind of the before and after, you know, like you're remodeling a bathroom or a kitchen, the before and after. People love the before and after. They love that story. They love that journey. That's why HGTV is so popular. People like seeing what happened, where did somebody see possibility, and what was the end result. And so LinkedIn, in a social media platform, gives you an opportunity to highlight that in a way that is more valuable than you would find maybe on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, just because, you know, the folks on LinkedIn are going to be a little bit more seriously minded, and you know, they are on that journey as well. Whereas on Facebook and Instagram, you know, it's a bunch of followers who are friends, family, high school acquaintances, you know, old business acquaintances. And so you don't always know what the reaction is going to be in that environment. So I just want to step back a little bit. We're going to talk about building out your profile here in just a second. But when social media started way back in the, you know, early 2000s, all of the gurus said, as they were encouraging people to get online, they were encouraging businesses to get online and participate. They were saying, treat it like a cocktail party. You know, don't be intimidated. You know, get in, have discussions, you know, make yourself known, have a profile, be active. And that was great advice back in the early 2000s. But what quickly became apparent is a lot of businesses truly treated social media like a cocktail party, in the sense that, as we all know, you go to cocktail parties and people stand around and they talk about themselves all night. And that's, you know, that it's a little self-centered. And businesses started to get, you know, disillusioned about social media. They said, you know, I'm saying all these things and nobody's responding to me. Well, it's because you're treating it the wrong way. And so what they did was that they changed the advice to treat it like a potluck. Come to the table with some value. Come with a story. Come with something that you want to share with other people that they will find value in it. And so much like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or anything else, when you come to LinkedIn, it's the best thing that you could do is not just, here's my upcoming Labor Day sale. Here's, you know, here's another achievement I won. And if that's all of your posts that offer no value, no education, no inspiration to the end user, your posts are going to fall flat. You're not going to get a lot of likes. You're not going to get a lot of people wanting to follow you because it's very self-centered. Whereas like Nicole, like Gina, like some of the others that I highlighted, you know, they bring value, they bring education, they bring inspiration, they bring ideas to the table that people get to chew on a little bit and learn from. And when you do that, you'll find that you'll get more discussions started than the alternative. So when we go to market, we often are very serious minded. And so this is an example of how do you come to the party as a potluck, not as a cocktail party. You know, you go to a cocktail party, it's kind of like this. You're selling yourself. It's just, I'm selling myself. I want people to be impressed by me. Much like in business, we tell people, buy this lollipop. This lollipop is locally made with the finest ingredients. It's not expensive. You should buy one today. That, from many businesses, from many professionals, that's their approach to life. They're trying to push this idea that I am the best. You need to think of me. You need to partner with me, instead of showing them why that is the case. And so the better approach is why I sell lollipops. When I was a child, my grandfather brought me a different lollipop every Sunday. That sense of surprise and delight made my relationship with him and my childhood feel magical. I want to pass that feeling on to my customers with lollipops I create. What's your favorite flavor? So this is a totally different approach. It brings the end user into your world. It gives them a sense of who you are and why you operate the way you do, what inspires you, what motivates you, and helps share that experience with them. And so when you're thinking about posts on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, wherever it is, it's better to take this direction with it than just pushing, the idea of a sale or of a connection or whatever it is that you may be motivated to get them to do. It's better to bring them along the journey and have them feel a connection to you and build a sense of trust with you. So getting started, if you're not on LinkedIn, you can sign up very easily, and LinkedIn will do a very good job of leading you through the elements you need to put in place for a great profile. And as you're going through that sign up process or building out that profile process, there will be usually a little slider, and it'll show you you're 40% done, you're 60% done. As you reach certain milestones, it'll say you're at all-star status. So it gives you, it kind of grades you along the way in what you need to do. And so obviously the first thing to do is you need a really great profile photo. If you have a professional photo done, that's great. You can use that, you can upload that. If you need something more recent taken, a cell phone photo is just fine. It'll crop down to the size of your head. And, so long as you have a bright smile and you're looking at the camera, that's going to be more attractive to people than a profile that just has a blank icon. And so you really want to give people a sense of your personality, having a welcoming expression on your face. And at the top of the profile is the banner image. That is not nearly as important. Some people, they put very nice photography up there, or they have a graphic. I'll show you mine in a minute here. It's very simple, but it's just another way to layer on your personality in that. Now, a clear headline. So you want people to know who you are and what you do. Some people, they're a little bit cute or vague in what they do. I'm the executive dream maker at my company. Well, nobody knows what that is. I mean, you need to be a little bit more direct in what your title is and what it is that you provide. So in the case of, if you are a mortgage lender, you are an innovative person who, helps customers navigate, difficult financial questions to find the best loan product for what they're trying to buy. I mean, it's just something short. Maybe that's a little bit wordy or too long, but it needs to be something that is very clear on who you are and what you do. A compelling summary. Again, I'll show you mine in a bit, but it needs to. It really needs to explain, what it is you have done historically. Like, summarize this. What do you do? I am a salesperson, motivated salesperson who's brought, 25% growth to every every company I've ever worked at. You know, I'm just making this off the top of my head. So it's, you know, but it needs to be something that summarizes you and gives them a sense of your accomplishments and who you are and what you provide at a professional level. And then going down through relevant work, education, skills, recommendations, accomplishments, and contact. You know, they'll contact you through LinkedIn, so you don't have to worry as much there. But education, you know, give them your education statistics, skills. You know, it's important to not skimp on this, because at times people want to know, do you know coding? And if so, what coding languages do you know? If you have skills with, you know, electronic equipment, or you have skills with counseling, or, you know, whatever professional or certificated type skills that you may have, you want to make sure that that's in there, because as people are searching around for either people to partner with, or to ask questions from, or to maybe hire in a new position, you don't want to be left out just because you didn't list all the relevant skills available to you. And I know that this sounds tedious for those of us who have been on the job market in recent years. It can be aggravating to apply for a job. You give them the resume with everything they want to know, and then they send you an application asking you to fill out everything you just gave them. It is very aggravating. But it is worthwhile in the end, because LinkedIn, much like Google, when, you know, all of the words that you use are embedded into the search algorithm of LinkedIn. So things that you mentioned, and then the ways that you describe them, will help people discover you over time, and will lead people to you that maybe unexpectedly you didn't know were even aware of you. So recommendations, these are good things to get from past coworkers, past partners, previous employers, clients that you may have worked with in the past. You can ask them, hey, do you mind going on my LinkedIn profile and writing a recommendation for me on this project? You know, and it's good to be specific. Not just say, hey, could you recommend me? And they go on there, hey, I recommend so-and-so. That's not good enough. It needs to be specific around a project, a position, some kind of accomplishment over time. And accomplishments, you can list those as well. So this is, LinkedIn, it's kind of an infinite scroll, so it's very long. And I know that these words are very small. Can hardly read them on the laptop, but you might be able to zoom in and you can see my profile and how I look. As I said, I have a very simple banner, simple headshot, professional headshot, and online marketing strategist. That was the best title I could come up with, because although my employers have changed over the years and my roles have changed, what I do is online marketing strategy. And so that was a good title for me. And then in the about, that's just kind of, the summary of me. And it says, I love all things media. I'm passionate about communicating to audiences, customers, colleagues in new, interesting, and effective ways. First and foremost, I'm a teacher at heart. And that's, any employer that worked with me, they quickly realize I like teaching my colleagues new things, not puffing myself up, but helping them grasp new technologies, new strategies, new innovations, so that it makes their workload easier. And I end with, I'm a firm believer there is no secret sauce to marketing, which is true. There's no secret sauce to marketing. It's just a matter of, the difference is your ideas, your passion that you pour into it. And then just underneath that are 2 articles that I recently wrote back in March. And that's, my approach to LinkedIn is kind of a thought leadership type approach. I'm less interested in the networking. I'm more interested in the teaching and the thought leadership aspect of it. So that's what I've emphasized. So I want to give you a little bit of motivation because I've done a lot of talks on social media and marketing in the past. And there's a lot of nuts and bolts that we could go over ad nauseum. And YouTube is probably better and more thorough at giving you all the details you would ever want to need on any of these things. But what I find most professionals are looking for is the motivation. Because it's, you know, we sit in workshops and seminars, and we write notes on what to do and how to do it. But at the end of the day, it is a matter of, you know, motivation. So this is where the rubber meets the road. You know, you need to choose your heart. You could have a mediocre failing business, work long hours, spinning your wheels, being timid, anxious, and criticized, or you can be vulnerable, courageous, long hours, bold, and still have that anxiety, but it's going to be hard either way. So it's better to choose the hard that leads to success than the hard that just continues failure or leads to failure in the end. And the way to make sure that you are able to follow that path to success is a matter of how you set yourself up. You know, in life, in business, in anything, you know, we all have goals, expectations, and standards. And when it comes to building up good habits that lead to success, it's best not to fall into the goals or expectations. You know, goals we aspire to do, but nobody's making you do it. So if you don't make a goal, you don't get in trouble. Same with expectations. You can have them or not, but nobody's really holding your feet to the fire. But when we make things standards, we find that we do those because they're baked in. We always get dressed. We always brush our teeth. We always pick up the kids from school. It's our standard. So we never miss that. And when you build in habits that, whether it's posting daily or every other day on LinkedIn or any other social media, whatever we do, once we make it our standard, we're consistent about it, and we can overcome the obstacles that come our way because it is just what we do. It's baked into who we are as a person. Short-term goals, I told you not to have goals, but here I am telling you to have goals, short and long-term goals. But it is important to know that when you are on this path of building out a LinkedIn profile that helps build reputation and recognition of your expertise, you know, you're not going to accomplish it in a week. You're not going to accomplish it in a month. You know, your short-term goals need to be have a level to them where, you know, I'm going to get the profile done. I'm going to come up with a content plan. I'm going to start that, knowing that the long-term goal is that you will grow over time and you will learn the lessons that lead to success. And you have to be patient because there are no overnight successes, and you have to fall in love with the journey. You know, life is a journey, and we need to recognize that, you know, if we hate the journey and only love the destination, that we're going to live a miserable life. You know, it's loving to learn and moving down the path towards our goal is the fun. It's where we find the joy, and perfection is the enemy. You can't be too hard on yourself, and you can't expect everything to be perfect before you start something. You have to learn what's good enough and go with that. And that, you know, when people ask, you know, what's more important, quantity or quality, what you'll find is that until you do the quantity, you'll never get to the quality, because you don't get enough practice. If you don't get enough practice in and live through those failures, you never advance, you never learn, you never get better. And so you have to start with quantity, and it eventually leads to the quality that you're looking for. So thank you. I know this was a wordy, long presentation, and if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Sarah is there taking notes. So but that's the end of my presentation. Thank you. Do you have questions for me? Okay.
No question in the chat.
Is there any people in the chat?
Yeah, no question in the chat. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, I ended early. If anybody has any questions, you certainly could follow up, contacting MCSC, and we can,
This is very informative. Thank you. It's all around. Thank you.
okay.
And Justin, I will forward everyone your contact information
Oh.
as well as the presentation. So just in case they have a question.
All right, good luck. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone.
And that's what we ended.